Alright, so we will be going through three replays with Gotunk, a PvP, and then a PvZ, and finally a PvT. So Gotunk, would you please start the game?
Yeah.
Alright. So Gotunk is the brown Protoss at the bottom, and his opponent is the yellow Protoss at the top. You said that this is just a practice game, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Actually, I think it was in some Gosu Cup tournament.
Oh.
But I picked it because it was a very standard game, so there was a lot of things to point out.
Alright. So, do you ever... With this game, we're going to see just the basic Protoss stuff. One gate core and then some kind of tech. In what situations do you not go for a really standard Protoss opening? You go for a 2-gate maybe, or for a really fast expo, or for DPs maybe?
Well, I think that depends a lot on the map and my opponent. Like, if I'm playing someone I think I'm better than, I would go standard most of the time. But the map is really important for what I do.
What's a map where you don't want to go standard on?
Usually big maps with like a cliff that do not have a cliff, or maps which have a cliff to the NAT, but not between the NAT and the main, like Aztec or Empire of the Sun.
Okay. Anyway, both setting out the scouts, mirrored builds up to this point. How in a PvP like this, how long do you go with a very scripted thing, and when do you actually start to tailor your build towards what your opponent is doing?
Usually I have my build up to when I expand, but you really have to scout and be ready for sort of cheesy things like taking the middle of the map, especially when you think you're better than your opponent. And you have to always try to not get behind if you're doing, I don't know, if you're going 2 gates before expand, you need to make sure he's not expanding before you, and that type of thing.
I did pick up that you scouted the middle before continuing along your scout path, just to make sure there weren't any shenanigans going on. Whoa. Alright, that went away. Cool. I was curious if it had a reverb, but it's over now, so we can continue. Excuse me. Does scouting your opponent last affect your play at all? Or is it really not important as long as you get the scout in there eventually?
Not usually, but it could matter. Like, if you don't get your prob in, he can get a lot of faster citadel. Because, like, if you are watching now, because my prop got in, is forced to, like, get a Dragoon before putting up a citadel and a potential fast DT. So, but because I'm scouting, I can be sure there's a certain timing. I'm not really forced to go a robot that fast. I don't know if you get what I mean.
I understand what you're saying. Alright. Excuse me. So you got your probe in. It's scouted pretty much standard stuff. When playing a PvP and you're going for Robo first, do you like going for the Observer most of the time, or do you like getting the fast Reaver?
Mostly Observer, to be honest.
Mostly Observer?
But, yeah, because even if you don't go the Observer first, you just die to Dark Templar. And even if you get the Reaver first, if the other guy has the Observer, it's really hard to engage, because he always knows where you are, and you're at big disadvantage, even if you have a Reaver and he doesn't.
Alright. So, first little skirmish of the game. Do you have any tips for effective micro when it's a couple zealots and a couple goons versus a couple zealots and a couple goons?
I think the most important is to make an arc. So you saw he sent his units in a line, and you expect him in an arc, you can defend a lot better. And then to try to focus fire from the goons to his goons.
So you just you try not to shoot the zealots at all when you can.
No, if you can get the fire on the other goons, it's what you have to do. But chasing around while his zealots are hitting you, it's not a good idea.
Okay. Now, why did you decide to attack here after adding only 2 more goons on?
I'm not really attacking, but I'm making sure he didn't expand before me. I am wasting a unit, and probably wasn't the best idea, but I'm sure he didn't get an expansion first than me, and that he didn't go plus DT or anything.
Alright.
If you watch pro gamers playing, they many times attack on one point and send a scout drone to somewhere else, or do a drop. So there are many times when you attack to do something else. You're not really attacking, you're just distracting your opponent.
Okay. So now that you get to a pretty stable point in the game, where you both have a reasonably sized army, and you're both throwing down your expansion, you both have your tech, how does a player when they're in this situation start to get ahead of their opponent?
Well, it comes down to small things, like having a better scouting, sniping probes going around the map, sniping the ops. Here I'm trying to avoid him from getting an observer inside my base, and that kind of stuff. But there's not really much you can do. If you're against a good player and you try to get an expansion now, he's just gonna kill you.
So really at this point, it's a lot more of just not making a mistake. Picking up the free scouting probe or the free observer when you can, but you just want to make sure you don't throw the game away. Right?
Yeah, pretty much.
So, you both have your Reavers out. Now, there are a lot of Protoss players who choose not to get the Reaver, even when they go Obs first. They just get the Obs, and then immediately go into Templars and get some really fast storms. Do you have any thoughts on when it's better to get the Reaver, or when it's better to get faster storms after going Observer first?
Yeah. You need Reavers when armies are goon heavy. If you both have 10 goons, for example, you definitely need a Reaver, but if you go for escaping the Reaver is most useful when you're if you go fast expand, for example, or you get 1 gate goon, then you expand and then you put down another 2 gates, or that sort of stuff. But you really need